Anastasia, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So you, I understand, had a birthday recently, just turned 17.
I did. I think it was about a week ago now.
So are you still in high school? Are you still working, like doing school from home right now, or have you finished that?
Well, I'm online because of COVID, but normally I do go to school and I'm in grade 11. So I'm almost done, but not yet. So I'm waiting, almost there.
So you're in school and you also have a budding music career.
Yes, I mean, it's been crazy, like dealing with all of it at the same time, but I think it's been really fun. So.
What do your friends think of that?
Well, I think that they're not as involved. I think that I've actually said this a few times in some different interviews, but I feel like it's like not like a Hannah Montana moment, but like they don't really know what's going on, and I kind of think it's cool like that. So they're not that involved, but my closest friends, they're very supportive.
That's really cool. So tell me, let's start at the beginning with you. What came first? Was it writing music or was it singing or some other instrument? How did music come into your life?
Well, it was definitely singing. It's always been singing. I've been singing since I was like 3. I think that I've always like really loved music, and I think that I found out I was a good singer, and ever since then I've just wanted to do music, and then I've tried to learn the other skills after. I think that I'm a pretty musical person naturally, so it hasn't been too difficult learning, but growing and learning from my mistakes has definitely been a long, long time of learning and failing and trying again. So
Do you find it hard to write sometimes?
I think that I used to find it a lot more difficult, and I think that this year I've had so many experiences to learn how to write and do so many more writing sessions that I'd normally not really be able to do because of going into school all day and not being able to miss as much. But having so many Zoom sessions, I've been learning so much, and I think that I've grown a lot of a write as a lot of a write. Wait, I've grown a lot more as a writer this year, being able to do all these sessions.
I guess that's one bright side of the pandemic is everyone realizes you don't actually have to fly anywhere to meet with people
Hmm.
anymore if you don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty great. Like having class done at 3 and then a session at 3:05. Definitely busy, but it's been pretty good.
Yeah, talk more about that kind of schedule because I think for a lot of us, music is kind of magical. We turn on the radio and there's a song and maybe we hear it for the first time. Someone hears Red Button and they go, that's amazing. But for you, it's a much longer journey. Tell me about the journey of writing with other people, writing songs, recording.
Yeah, so I wrote the song with Jimmy McCorman, and he's out in LA. So I wrote the song. It must have been September, but it could have been August. We've all been trying to figure out when I wrote the song, and I can't give you 1 month because I have no idea. But I think that it was either August or September, and it was in the middle of like a crazy situation with me and this guy. And so I wrote the song about this like annoying situation about how I kept hitting the red button. And I think that it started with one Zoom session and then another one to write more on the song, just like make it better. And then there was a studio session, which was like a bit later, I think maybe a month or two later, and Jimmy was still on Zoom. And then another studio session. There's like a million studio sessions before you like choose which one you like best. And then all after that was then I ended up going to LA and we wrote some more songs together. So I met him after the entire thing was done, which is so weird, but
Yeah,
yeah.
that's quite a journey.
Yes, it's been a long, weird journey. I've never done a song without meeting someone before, but I mean, we've made a good one, so.
Yeah. So were you in Toronto in a studio in Toronto recording?
Yeah, I was in Toronto. I live in Toronto, so there's a studio that I went to here. I have a home studio, but whenever I'm doing something like super important, usually I'll go to somebody else because I work better when people are like there. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I do that as well when I have a director because I do voice work. And if I do it at home, I'm just like constantly questioning myself and recording 5 million times.
hmm
That's when there's someone to be like, yeah, that's good. And you're like, but that was my second take. They're like, that's fine. And you're like, fine, that's good. Yeah,
Okay.
imagine for you, it's a little bit the same way.
Yeah, it is. Definitely a lot of takes. Oh,
Yeah,
but it's fine.
but it's really cool the technology that we do have that you can sing into a microphone in Toronto and someone can be recording in LA. And that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that we're able to make a song from so far away and be able to put it all together and it sounds so good. So, yeah.
What is it like for you to write that song, Red Button, and then have the finished product go to radio with all, I guess, the emotion and the story behind it? How does it feel for you?
I mean, I think that the entire experience has just been so positive. Like having all of this hard work and seeing such like amazing, um, what's the word? Outcome. Seeing such an amazing outcome from all the hard work that everyone's put into the song. I think that it's been like so good to be able to see that. I think that I've been making music for such a long time, and Red Button has definitely done better than any of the other songs that I've released. And I think that it definitely deserves it. I think that this is a good time for one of my songs to do so well because I've finally put so much work into all of it and I've learned so much, especially from Red Button. And I think that it's been really cool, like, seeing it on the radio has been, like, such a cool experience, and seeing it climbing up the charts has been so positive, and it's been such a good experience.
And the person that you wrote it about or inspired the song, has that person said anything about it? Does that person know?
Well, they know about the song. We're not friends anymore, so I don't think that he would ever talk to me about it, but he didn't like it at the beginning when he heard it for the first time, so I don't know.
Well, everyone else likes it, so there you go.
He's probably the one person that just sits there and hates that it's doing well, so I don't mind.
So you are just 17 years old and you have a long career ahead of you. What do you hope for in your career?
Well, in the more near future, I'm hoping that I can go on tour, and I mean, tour has always been my favorite thing. I went on two when I was 13,
Wow.
so
Who
I've
did you go with?
definitely I went with Fourth Ave in Alex Iono. I opened for them. It was definitely a really good experience, and I've grown so much from then that I've just love to do it now.
Mhm.
And I think that I've got so much like new music that I want to share with people. And I haven't met any of the new people that have been listening to my music, so I definitely would really like to do that. I think that after tour, I'd love to go and write more with new people in person. It's been a while, and I'd love to go perform, not necessarily tour, but I want to perform at Madison Square Garden. So I've got a few goals that I'd like to achieve in the next few years. So, yeah.
What's your favorite part of being on tour? And I can imagine that 13, that was an amazing.
Yeah, definitely not like the average tour
Yeah.
for like because I'm 13, like my mom was with me the whole time, so like a little like different, but even now my mom would probably be coming with me. She's been like my biggest supporter, so she'll always be there. But I think that my favorite thing on tour, it's not necessarily the performing because I do love being able to perform, but that's more of a me thing. I think that the biggest part is after your show, and usually I'll stay for like an hour and just like talk to the people that are in the audience that were watching me, and I'll like take pictures with them or sign stuff that they've asked me to. But I just think that the best experience and the most that I've ever learned from tour is not necessarily my music, but the gratitude that I get back for doing what I do and learning so much about how my music can affect other people. I think that that's taught me so much about how me making music isn't necessarily only for me, but I think that I've learned that it's for so many other people, and that I'm not making music just for me to listen to, but for everyone else that's waiting to hear what I've been working on to release. So, yeah.
Yeah. And what does music mean to you? Like, what does it feel like for you to make music, to hear music? How is that important in your life?
Well, I think that I've always grown up not necessarily listening to music, but wanting to be in music. And I think that when I make my own song, the feeling that when I really love the song, I think that it makes me feel like I'm so much more powerful than I necessarily am. Like I feel like I have all this power and I've done like such an amazing thing. And I think that having music in my life has definitely been like a therapy for me. I think that it definitely brings on a lot of stress because it's a big job and a big responsibility for someone at 13, 14, 15, or now 17. But I think I missed 16, but whatever. I think that being able to do it has definitely taught me, and I've learned from it, especially from things happening in my life. Writing a song about it, I've learned just by writing the song, I've given myself like some maturity, and I've like kind of gone through it in my head like I would with a therapist. So it's been like so weird, but definitely like something really good for me. So,
Yeah, a lot of people are talking more about therapy now because of the pandemic, and it's taking a toll on people's mental health. So it's interesting
hmm
to hear that your songwriting is a bit of a form of therapy for you,
yeah,
and that might
I
be,
think it's always been one. So it's been like really good for me.
yeah. What else have you been doing beyond music and I guess high school this past year? I mean, has that filled all your time, or do you have other hobbies or other jobs or other?
Um, well, let's see. I got my driver's license, so that takes up all of my free time besides sleeping and eating because I have wanted to drive for so long, and because of the pandemic, I wasn't allowed to take my test. And finally, in that like small window, like I took my test and I got it, and I have had so much like fun and freedom just like driving around. Like I'm not really allowed to drive with anybody, so I kind of just drive around. I'll like go to my friends' houses and like roll down the window and be like, "Hey, what's up?" So like that's my social interaction, and like just getting the freedom to like get in the car by myself and just drive and like blast music, best thing ever. So that's basically what I do with my time now. So
That's great. I think a lot of us can identify with taking the car out. Like even me, I've
hmm
been driving. Like I got my driver's license 20 years ago, and during the pandemic, I was like, I'm going to do the shopping this week to my husband because really I just want to get in my car because I haven't been out of the house
hmm
in a whole week, and we're like an excuse to drive.
Oh,
It's
when I first got my license, I was like putting on makeup and a full outfit to just go in the car. And I was like, wow, like I'm going out today. Like I'm literally going to sit in the car, like maybe going to a McDonald's drive-through, like nothing to look special for.
yeah, yeah. Pandemic life. It's definitely something that's
Yep.
future generations are going to be like, really, you went out for a car ride? Okay, it was important. Yeah, well, it was really great to talk to you, and we are playing Red Button. It's a really catchy tune, and it's great to meet you and learn a little bit more about you.
Yes, thanks for having me. It was fun.